The galaxy remembered the day humanity fell. It was not a slow death. It was not a quiet surrender. It was a massacre designed by one creature who had smiled at human diplomats for 30 years while planning their extinction. His name was Vareth Ken, Grand Vizier of the Collective Council, and he believed humans were too dangerous to exist. Vareth had watched humanity climb from their small blue world. He had seen them spread across 200 star systems in just 3 centuries. He had observed their strange persistence, their refusal to accept limitations. Where other species took thousands of years to master interstellar travel, humans did it in 200. Where ancient civilizations crumbled under the weight of their own expansion, humans only grew stronger. This terrified him. The Collective Council governed 47 species across the Orion Arm. Vareth belonged to the Keth, a reptilian species known for patience and political manipulation. They had ruled the Council for 6,000 years through careful planning and strategic marriages between royal families. Humans had disrupted everything simply by existing. Vareth remembered the first human ambassador. Her name was Elena Torres. She had walked into the Grand Chamber with shoulders straight and eyes that held no fear. The other species had cowered before the Council for millennia. Humans did not cower. They negotiated. They demanded equal treatment. They got it within a decade. This could not continue. Vareth spent 20 years building his plan. He cultivated friendships with human senators. He learned their language, their customs, their weaknesses. He discovered that humans trusted too easily. They believed in honor and kept their word even when it hurt them. This would be their downfall. The attack came during the Festival of Unity, a celebration humans had created to honor cooperation between species. Every major human world held celebrations. Their fleets were scattered, their soldiers on leave, their defenses at minimum power. Vareth had arranged everything perfectly. 300 Keth warships emerged from hyperspace above Earth. 200 more appeared above the colony worlds of New Shanghai, Europa Prime, and Andromeda Station. The human defense networks received the standard Council identification codes. These codes marked the ships as friendly. Vareth had provided them personally. The bombardment lasted 6 hours. Earth burned. The great cities of humanity became ash and memory. New Shanghai disappeared under a wave of plasma fire. Europa Prime cracked open like an egg. 4 billion humans died before their fleet could respond. Admiral Chen Wei was commanding the 3rd Fleet near the border territories when the distress signals reached him. He listened to the screening transmissions from Earth. He heard children crying for parents who were already dead. He watched the sensor data showing his homeworld dying in real time. Something broke inside him that day. Something else was born. The human survivors scattered across the remaining colonies. The Keth fleet hunted them system by system. Vareth announced to the Council that humanity had attempted to assassinate him and that the Keth response was justified self-defense. Most Council members knew this was a lie. None of them spoke against it. Humans had made them nervous. Perhaps their destruction was for the best, but Vareth made a critical error. He assumed humans would break like other species had broken. He expected surrender within months. He anticipated begging for mercy within a year. Humans gave him neither. Admiral Chun gathered the surviving fleet commanders in the asteroid fields of the Kepler system. 17 admirals attended. They commanded the remains of humanity's military power: 42 battleships, 112 cruisers, 300 destroyers. Against the combined might of the Keth Empire, these numbers meant nothing. Chun did not care about numbers. He stood before his admirals with burn scars covering half his face. He had been on the orbital station above Earth when the attack began. He had escaped in a shuttle while the station melted around him. His wife and 3 children had not escaped. Chun spoke only 3 words that day: "We will endure." The next 5 years tested that promise. Humans abandoned their remaining worlds. They became nomads, living on ships, hiding in nebulae, striking from shadows. The Keth hunted them constantly. Marath offered rewards for human heads. Some aliens collected those rewards. Others helped humans hide. The galaxy was not united in hatred. During these years, Chun developed his plan. He studied Keth psychology. He analyzed their battle tactics. He identified their weaknesses. Keth were patient and methodical. They planned everything decades in advance. They could not adapt quickly to unexpected situations. Their commanders followed protocols rigidly. Creativity was considered a character flaw. Humans were different. Humans evolved on a death world where survival required constant adaptation. Their ancestors had faced ice ages, predators, diseases, and each other. They had learned to think on their feet. They had learned that rules were suggestions and protocols were starting points. Chun began training his crews differently. He threw away the old manuals. He taught his officers to improvise. He promoted the ones who could make decisions in seconds rather than minutes. He built a fleet that moved like a living organism rather than a machine. The first major strike came at the Keth supply depot on Vortham Prime. Chun sent only 12 ships. Keth doctrine required overwhelming force for any engagement. 12 ships meant nothing to them. They were wrong. The human ships emerged from hyperspace inside the depot's defensive perimeter. This was considered impossible. Hyperspace exits this close to a gravity should have torn the ships apart. Human engineers had spent 3 years solving that problem. The Keth had never tried because their protocols said it could not be done. The 12 ships destroyed 90 supply vessels and 17 warships before escaping. Keth reinforcements arrived 2 hours later to find only debris and a single message beacon. The message contained one word in the Keth language: remember. Vorath dismissed the attack as desperation. He increased patrols and tightened security protocols. He did not change his fundamental strategy. This was his second critical error. Chun struck again 3 months later. Then again 2 months after that. Then again and again. Each attack was different. Each attack exploited a different weakness. Human ships appeared where they should not be able to appear. They used weapons that did not exist in any database. They vanished before Keth forces could respond. The humans were also gathering intelligence. Every raid collected data. Every captured ship provided information. Every interrogated officer revealed secrets. Within 2 years, Chun knew more about Keth military operations than most Keth admirals. He learned about the Throne Fleet. The Throne Fleet was the Keth Empire's ultimate military asset. 200 of their largest warships held in reserve at the Imperial capital of Kethos Prime. These ships had not moved in 400 years. They existed as a symbol of Keth dominance. Their very existence discouraged rebellion. No enemy had ever threatened them. Chun intended to destroy them all. The plan required 3 years of preparation. Human agents infiltrated Keth society. They posed as merchants, servants, entertainers. They mapped every defense system around Kethos Prime. They identified every patrol route, every sensor blind spot, every weakness. More importantly, they found allies. Not all Council species supported Vorath. The Vellani remembered when the Keth had conquered their homeworld. The Dreth had lost millions to Keth expansion. The Torith watched humanity's genocide and saw their own possible future. These species provided secret support: fuel, ammunition, intelligence, safe harbors. Vorath remained blind to this growing alliance. His spies reported only what he wanted to hear. His advisors feared contradicting him. His arrogance had become his greatest weakness. The attack on Kethos Prime began with a lie. Human agents spread rumors of a massive refugee convoy fleeing toward the Outer Rim. Keth patrol fleets moved to intercept. For 6 hours, the space around Kethos Prime held fewer defenders than it had in centuries. Chun used those 6 hours well. His fleet emerged from hyperspace in 3 waves. The first wave consisted of modified freighters packed with explosives. These ships flew directly into the orbital defense platforms and detonated. The platforms died before they could fire. The second wave targeted the Throne Fleet's support facilities, fuel depots, ammunition stores, communication centers, repair docks. Within 30 minutes, the Great Fleet was isolated and blind. The third wave was the hammer. 42 battleships, 112 cruisers, 300 destroyers. Every surviving human warship committed to a single battle. Chun commanded from the Bridge of the Remembrance, a ship named for the world they had lost. The Throne Fleet scrambled to respond. Their commanders tried to organize a defense, but their communication systems were destroyed. Their protocols required orders from Central Command. Central Command was burning. Human ships tore into the Keth formation like wolves among sheep. They fought with fury accumulated over 5 years of running. They fought with memories of Earth burning. They fought with the names of 4 billion dead screaming in their hearts. The battle lasted 4 hours. When it ended, the Throne Fleet existed only as expanding clouds of debris. 187 Keth warships destroyed. 13 survived by surrendering. Human losses were significant but acceptable. 18 battleships, 39 cruisers, 94 destroyers. Almost 60,000 human lives. But they had won. Chun did not stop at the fleet. His surviving ships descended toward the Imperial Palace. Vorath watched from his tower as human dropships darkened the sky. He had prepared for this possibility. His personal shuttle waited on the roof. His escape route was planned. He never reached the shuttle. A human squad breached the palace through the sewage systems. They moved through the corridors with silent efficiency. They killed his guards without raising alarms. They found him trying to activate the roof access. The squad leader was a woman named Sarah Torres. Elena Torres had been her grandmother. Vorath tried to negotiate. He offered wealth. He offered territory. He offered secrets about other council species. Sarah listened to every word. Then she activated her communication device and broadcast his voice across the entire planet. The Keth people heard their Grand Vizier begging for his life. They heard him offering to betray his allies. They heard him admitting that the attack on humanity had been unprovoked genocide. They heard everything. Sarah did not kill Vorath. Death would have been too quick. Instead, she handed him over to the Villani delegation that arrived the next day. The Villani had their own questions for the Grand Vizier. They took their time asking them. The collective council collapsed within a year. Species that had cowered under Keth dominance for millennia found their courage. The empire that had ruled for 6,000 years fragmented into dozens of independent states. Humans emerged from the shadows. They reclaimed their surviving colonies. They rebuilt. They remembered. Earth remained dead. Some proposed terraforming it back to habitability. The Council of Admirals rejected this idea. Earth would remain as a monument. Future generations would visit the scarred world and remember what had been lost. They would remember what humanity had survived. They would remember what humanity had done in response. Admiral Chun retired to a small station orbiting the ruins of Earth. He spent his remaining years writing the history of the Human Recovery War. His final entry, written the day before his death, contained 3 words: "We have endured." The galaxy never forgot the lessons of humanity's fall and rise. Species that considered genocide learned to fear the consequences. Empires that believed in their own invincibility remembered the Throne Fleet burning above Kethos Prime. Politicians who schemed against younger species remembered Vorath's screams. And somewhere in the vast darkness between stars, human children learned the story of their ancestors. They learned about the day everything was taken from them. They learned about the years of hiding and fighting. They learned about the final battle that changed the galaxy forever. Most importantly, they learned the truth that other species had discovered through pain. Humanity could be hurt. Humanity could be wounded. Humanity could be pushed to the edge of extinction. But humanity could not be broken. The Vizier had orchestrated their fall. The Imperial fleet had orchestrated his. And the galaxy would remember both lessons for 10,000 years to come.